Hello, it's Pete here from Northern Works. Welcome back. It's time to do something I've been putting off for a very long time. The garden. It's not been well loved, not been well designed, never been well maintained, and as a result, it's not been well used. But I'm going to change all that. I've spent months redesigning almost everything about it, and I'm going to transform it into a space we'll love using for years. But for now, I've got a massive list of jobs to do and I need to crack on. And I'm going to start by stripping the old varnish off this pod and getting rid of about half of this deck. So let's get on with it. £6mm, I reckon. Nope. Who even has a 7mm socket? Yeah, I should probably turn the electric off. Okay, now we're ready. Although I should definitely put a hat on. Paint stripper takes about an hour to do its job and then I can scrape it off. So while that's happening, I want to pull apart this deck, which first of all means going along and trying to find any screws. Already over this. Well, this is just already frustrating. I'm getting absolutely nowhere and I'm just ripping the heads off 10-year-old screws. So it's time for the crowbar. I think I'll still be able to use a lot of these boards, but we'll see where we're at once they're up. Well, it's a little bit good and a little bit bad. Let me show you what I mean. What I was planning to do was to just reduce the deck down to basically a step, because that's all I need really is a step just to get into the office. So I'd marked a Sharpie line there and I was going to go back to this board. The good news is the joists are in really good condition and I could do that. The bad news is that this deck was really well built. And whoever built it has poured really good concrete footings and pilings that the whole thing is attached to, which is great for a deck the size that it is. But for me it means I'll either have to completely dig out these footings and dig some new ones and pour concrete in them, or I'll reuse these footings but leave the deck a bit bigger than I expected. And honestly, I haven't made up my mind yet because there's another problem. The water supply for the office currently runs right underneath. Do you know what? I'll go back to scraping these walls and then I'll have a little think. These little patches are really annoying. They just take ages to finish off, but I found someone to help with one of the other jobs.
There were some shots of me painting something like that.
How's it going?
So well.
We've had a fair bit of rain overnight, so while things are drying out, let me tell you what I'm actually planning to build. When we moved in here, the garden was just a patio and a pretty big expansive lifeless lawn. I did plant a border on one side about 3 years ago, but it's never been a particularly well used space. Now, I am not a garden designer. I usually design and make furniture. So I spent a long time on research for this project, starting with the things that we really want to use it for. Some outdoor eating spaces, social spaces, a space that will attract lots of new wildlife, and space to enjoy a quiet coffee. I also looked at what makes the best gardens work. I spent time at RHS Gardens and stalking the Instagram profiles of some of the best garden designers, and I realised that what makes great gardens work is that they fit around your life. They've got a variety of different spaces, so you're tempted to actually use your whole garden, and they use a lot of different textures to create visual interest. And so, putting all that together, and after a lot of drafts that I threw away, here's what I'll be making over the next few weeks. The new scheme is centered around 2 new social spaces, a dining area by the house, and then a new seating area on a deck at the far end. I'll reduce the size of this patio and use gravel to soften this end of the garden, and then build a new outdoor kitchen for the barbecue. And then to break up all of that plain space in between, there'll be some new planting. I'll reduce the size of the deck by the garden office and then create 2 new borders that I'll fill with evergreen shrubs and summer flowers so we get all the bees. And then a magnolia tree, which I'm going to move from the front of the house, should give a bit of shade and attract some new wildlife as it starts to mature. And then I'm going to put a canal pond with a pier style bridge, which hopefully should bring some different kind of wildlife. And then finally, a pergola with jasmine, which is inspired by a recent holiday that we spent in Italy. And that will give some more visual texture and also a social fire pit area by the deck. And then to top it all off, a little bench nestled in by the office between the flowers and the pond. Should be a lovely quiet spot for a morning espresso. I literally cannot wait. So I better get back to work. Oh, there's got to be a better way. That might be the worst job I've ever had to do. I've now got massive respect for anyone who works in restoration. It's so bad, it might even be worse than painting. Speaking of which, I wonder how that fence is getting on. Audrey? Audrey? You didn't enjoy the painting then?
No.
Well, that makes 2 of us, to be fair. Now, I still need to get inside the grooves, clean it all off, and then put a couple of coats of stain on it. But right now, I want to get cracking on job number 4. I feel bad about this patio. Like, it's a good patio if you ignore all the weeds, and it's a well-made patio. It's just in completely the wrong place. And when it rains really hard, it turns into a lake. So I'm going to lift up the whole thing and start all over again. One thing that's always confused me about this patio is that across the entire expanse of the area, there's only one paver that's actually cracked. And I've always wondered why, and now I know. It's because this paver has been laid half on the screed, which is how I'm going to relay it, and the other half is actually on a mortar bed. And what's strange about this mortar bed is it's only in this little section. And I'm not really sure why yet. Because I want to keep as many of these pavers in one piece as I can, so I can reuse them in the new scheme. But any that do crack or have been cut smaller, I'll still find a use for them somewhere. Most of these slabs, when you pick them up, they're pretty clean on the back. They've just got a bit of sort of mud and occasionally a bit of sand, but occasionally some of them have got a lot more on them, and actually they've got these sort of clumps of mortar on them that is set, which is very different, which it's quite interesting reverse engineering a patio or anything like this, really, because you get to see how it's built. This has obviously been laid with some probably cement mixed in into the screed. That's a pretty common way of laying a patio. Not necessarily a driveway, it's probably not strong enough for that, but if you don't want to lay a full mortar bed, which I really don't, then that is the normal way, and that's how I'm going to lay this patio back again. As well as the large pavers, I'm also going to reuse these smaller cobblestones for a little seating area in the corner. So I'll take these out now, and then we'll see what state the screed is in, see how much of it can be reused. And I think I've solved the riddle of why these slabs sit on a mortar bed when everything else is just on a normal screed. And it's to do with this drain. Whenever they put this drain in, they were probably a bit more worried that everything would just sink away. And so they've put a couple of these slabs right onto concrete, and everything else is then just on the screed. Now I'm going to replace all of this with gravel, so I'm not so worried about subsidence underneath paving slabs. So when I do that, I might look at whether I need to add a bit of extra drainage, maybe a French drain, but I'll do that next week. Right, that's all the old blocks and pavers up, so now I can clear all the weeds off this old screed and see actually what kind of condition is it in and how much of it can I reuse. Well, I'm glad to say that screed's in much better condition than I expected, which means I won't have to rip the whole thing up, and I can just fill in some of the gaps and fill in the new sections where the patio extends. But all of that is for next week, and for now I'll just throw over some weed resistant matting so none of it grows back. And of course I haven't forgotten about this deck. I've decided that rather than digging up all of the concrete pilings that are there, moving it about 30 centimetres and redigging new concrete pilings, I'll just leave the ones that are there in place and fit my step around that size. That does mean I'm still going to have to take up all of the deck boards that are here and most of the joists. Well, that should be the end of the demolition, and I'm glad I can actually start to see how this is going to shape up now, although you'll have to wait until the next video to find out how I get on. One thing I'm pretty sure of though, it's going to get worse before it gets better. See you again.